It's all been building up to this for the last month. By the end of this video, we'll know our Starrcade main event. We'll know who our first women's tag team champions are. Plus, there's all those other title matches and a 3-ring 60-man battle royal. This is World War III. Hello and welcome to part 18 of my WCW Total Extreme Wrestling playthrough. I'm Kev and welcome to our... Is this our third or our fourth pay? I think this is our third pay-per-view now. World War III, the headline act of which is a 60-man, 3-ring battle royal, the winner of which will go on to face the WCW World Heavyweight Champion in the main event of Starrcade next month. And we're kicking things off. Why not have a pre-show panel? We've got DDP and Jim Cornette in the company on little 1-month contracts as part of the build towards World War III, making it into this big, meaningful event. So we'll get two of our best talkers in me, Eric Bischoff, and Paul Heyman. And we'll just have the four of them sat there chatting at ringside for 10 minutes. It gets us a B+ to start things off because we've got four pretty big names out there all having a chat. The announcers are doing a good job as well. The show's off to a strong start. The crowd are getting hotter. They're excited for what's basically title match after title match after title match and then a massive 3-ring battle royal. This can't not go well, surely. Okay, I am a little bit worried because when I was booking it, my main event, EC3 against Lashley, which is why it's now not the main event of the show, said, this is the 4th time you've had this match recently. Blah, 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 blah. It's probably, so this will be the last time EC3 and Lashley face each other in singles matches for a little while. So that's why we've moved the Battle Royal up to be main event to try and avoid affecting the overall show by what might end up being a fairly weak main event. And I've not really got time to add someone to it or mix things up a little bit, and we've already got the big gimmick thing. So okay, switch around what I said before. This pay-per-view could be the first big misstep we've had because we've thrown a lot of money at it, we've thrown a lot of stars at it, and it's our biggest crowd we've had for an event so far. It needs to go well, so we need to start building this company. Once we start getting a little bit bigger, signing the likes of Kenny Omega, CM Punk, all these free agents who are lying around who we could sign but won't discuss terms with us because we're too small. We need to grow the company. We need to grow the company fast. We just missed out on Okada as well. I don't know if I mentioned, but he's now re-signed with New Japan because he wouldn't sign with us. But we could have had Okada Omega in WCW if we'd have been a little bit bigger. Let's get into the proper show. And we start things off with our women's tag team title tournament final. It's Kaylee Ray and Mayu Iwatani versus Awesome Kong and Viper. We get a decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. And it is Awesome Kong and Viper who pick up the win, with Viper pinning Kaylee Ray after an elevator drop. And we have our new and first WCW Women's Tag Team Champions, Awesome Kong and Viper. Goodness me, they're going to take some beating. Kaylee Ray's getting better at gimmick. Gregory Helms doing good work at ringside as manager of Awesome Kong. The flow of the match was hurt by one of the wrestlers having little or no involvement. And that was a problem that we had because Mayu Iwatani, who's been our star in the lead up to this, has just come off the back of a massive tournament in Japan and is shattered and basically came to me and said, I can't do this, I need a rest. So we've had to give her instructions to barely be involved, which is why she's got a D-. Normally it'd be a solid C for Iwatani, but Kaylee Ray, bless her, has had to carry this match all on her own. It kind of took the decision away from me about who would win it, because if it's basically a 2-on-1 match with Iwatani watching, then it had to be Kong and Viper winning, and now we have the chance to build Kaylee Ray and Mayu Iwatani as the baby faces chasing the big dominant heels. So it's actually worked out to be quite a good plan. The problem is it's affected the quality of the match overall. Everyone's coming in with Ds, but Viper and Iwatani with the weakest performances, and it has lost a little bit of heat from our women's tag title storyline. We start off with a D as our first match, which again is why we put that pre-show panel thing in, to just give us a little bit of a start of the show boost. See, I'm starting to think about the structure of these pay-per-views. Who knew we'd ever get to this point? And now we have, again, just to get a little bit of a boost, Kevin Nash, leader of the women's division, coming out and presenting the new tag titles to Awesome Kong and Viper. We get a B for this part because Nash is involved. And everyone's happy. Well, okay, no one's happy because it's these two who have won and no one likes them. But we have women's tag champions finally. Huzzah! We get more gold in the company, and more gold is always good. And talking of gold, it's our TV title match. It's our champion Zack Sabre Jr. versus challenger Pete Dunne. And Pete Dunne has won, I think it's his third TV title at this point, because I think it hot potatoed a little bit back between him and Tyler Bate. But I've decided, let's put it on Pete Dunne. If we're splitting up the British lads for the TV title, the one who comes out of that with the title, I think, should be Pete Dunne. So Pete Dunne's going to be the champion, and then we're going to find other stuff for them all to do independent of each other. The match was poorly placed. A red hot crowd is not going to get excited by a match designed to gently lift them. I deliberately did this as a match to lift the crowd, and put it after the women's tag title match, because I thought that would be the best place to put it. But apparently the crowd were already red hot going into it. So there you go. I'm now thinking about it too much and messing up. And what could have been a much better match than this has come up with a D+. We get a C- for Sabre Jr., a D from Pete Dunne. Sabre Jr., I think, is ready to move up a level on the roster, and perhaps get into the US title picture. Pete Dunne is getting to the point where he needs some new opponents so that we don't start getting a little bit too boring and predictable for the TV title. And it's time for a backstage segment. We've got, I would suggest these are probably the 5 favourites for World War III. Basically, heated discussions backstage about who's going to win the Battle Royal. So it's Broken Matt Hardy, Bully Ray, Cody Rhodes, Jay Lethal and Rey Mysterio. The crowd got hotter, but Jay Lethal was underwhelming, didn't really perform as a talker. And we've lost heat on both our US title storyline and our Rey Mysterio Bully Ray storyline. I'm really messing up this pay-per-view. We get a C for the segment, and I mean, I guess all apart from Lethal, they come out of it looking quite good. So perhaps we're down to 4 now as potential winners of World War III. And then we have our tag title match. It's the Young Bucks versus the Briscoes. The Young Bucks won the tag titles at the last pay-per-view, and they've retained the tag titles at this pay-per-view. It's their first defence. We get a C for the match. C's for both of the Jacksons. They get C- and the Briscoes D+. So the right team won by the looks of it. Apparently the Young Bucks have great chemistry teaming together. No mention of that for the Briscoes, which is odd. But finally we're starting to get back on course with this pay-per-view, coming in with a C match for our tag titles. And then we move in to our women's title match. So it's our newly crowned champion from the last pay-per-view, Courtney Rush. And as we probably all predicted, really just a placeholder champion to get the belt onto Toni Storm, who was having some amazing matches, even in the run-up to the last pay-per-view. Toni Storm is the reason Mia Yim dropped the title. But I didn't want to do face versus face, so we've put Rush in place to hold the title for 1 month, so Toni Storm can take it off her. And our new WCW Women's Champion is Toni Storm. She gets a D+. Courtney Rush gets a D. We're not getting these messages about her being head and shoulders above everyone else anymore, but I guess it's because Courtney Rush is better opposition. And now we've got Toni Storm as champion, and hopefully can go and feud with our new women's wrestler who's going to be joining the company in the very near future. Maybe not on Nitro tomorrow, because it was like a 23-day wait when we signed her, and I'm not sure if that's quite up yet. At some point before Starrcade, we'll have a suitable opponent joining the company who can challenge Toni Storm at Starrcade, and that is going to be a cracking match. And then, oh, goodness me, we got an E. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't put this on last, but an E is a disaster. Oh, no. EC3 versus Lashley. EC3 wins and retains his title, but we get an E for the match. The match got the crowd buzzing, but apparently it wasn't a good match. It was the worst of the recent matches between these competitors, and that only served to magnify its flaws. As the 4th time this matchup has been done recently, it needed to be a lot better to hold the crowd's attention. We got a C+ for Carter, a C for Lashley, but we've broken the world title picture. Good job. We're going to get a fresh face in as challenger for Starrcade. We've got a little bit stale with... It's basically been EC3, Lashley and Rey Mysterio since we started WCW. So we needed this injection of a new challenger. But that's going to ruin this whole pay-per-view. We really have made a mistake with World War III. And I was so excited thinking it was going to be great. No, that's awful. And then we get in to... Our Battle Royal. 60 wrestlers. There you go. If you want to see who's involved, you can read that list on there. We get a C for the match. Lots of debuts because we've got guys who've been knocking around and just haven't debuted yet. They've been with the company. Adam Rose, Chris Masters. I mean, they've been David Hart-Smith. These guys have been with the company since before our first episode of Nitro and are just debuting now. That's how bloated our roster is. But it's a decent match, and we do have a new #1 contender. And of course, as surely we all knew, it is Broken Matt Hardy. So it's going to be Matt Hardy versus EC3 at the next pay-per-view. The final four: Cody Rhodes, Jimmy Havoc, and Shelton Benjamin, with Cody Rhodes being the final elimination. And Cody Rhodes also got the most eliminations over the course of the match. So Cody Rhodes with an incredibly strong showing, again showing that I think he's probably above the US title, but didn't quite manage to pick up the win. Hardy with the win, and really strong showing from Shelton Benjamin, which is good. And Jimmy Havoc, I don't understand. He's leaving the company now. We might need to give him a better contract. Did we get any mention? Matt Hardy was off his game. Great, that's good. Any other notes that we need to be aware of? We've lost heat on our US title storyline again. We need to get that title off Cody Rhodes. He needs to move into the main event. He's too good to be wasted on the US title. Mysterio, Bully Ray loses some heat. The TV title storyline gains some heat because we had Tyler Bate and Trent Seven both in the match. But they're probably not going to be part of the TV title picture. I daren't think what this show is going to be rated. We've totally messed it up. And we get a C-. There weren't enough attractive women on the show to satisfy. I mean, that's because we had 60 men in the main event. There's, 6 women involved in that pay-per-view. That's more than we've had in any other pay-per-view so far. But, of course, got battered by the 60-man main event. I think that's increased our popularity in 23 regions as well. I think in the circumstances, bearing in mind we were hampered by Iwatani not being able to fight properly. We were hampered by the EC3 Bobby Lashley match. Shouldn't have been the main event. I don't think that's the disaster it could have been, but could have been so very much better. Right, let's give Cody Rhodes well done. Good performance, Cody. Who else did good? Was anyone who did particularly bad? Should we just hammer EC3 and Lashley? No, because their individual performances were quite good. It was the circumstances of the match that wasn't great. Let's pat Viper and Tony Storm on the head. Why not? They've both picked up their first titles in the company, so let's what should we do? Told that they're worthless. Goodness me, you can be horrible with these. Who should we verbally eviscerate? I don't want. Let's give Viper a hug because she didn't have a good performance, but she has won her first title. Tony Storm. I wonder if I should be criticising them. I'd say she had a good performance. I mean, this could all be back. Cody Rhodes is pleased. Viper's pleased. Tony Storm is pleased. It hasn't upset anybody else. That's good. Let me know down in the comments how you'd have booked that differently. I think I have. We need to do better. We've got Starrcade in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And I've just messed up the previous pay-per-view. Some fixing is required here. Let me know in the comments how you'd fix it. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.